welcome to Man Coverage Sportscast. I'm Brad.
And I'm Ethan. And in this second episode, we are going to recap Week 1.
All right, a lot of great games.
Yeah, there was a lot of surprises.
We made our picks preseason, and then how did we do?
So this week in our Pick'em update, I missed 3 games, or got 13 right, and he got 10 right and 6 misses. It's hard week 1 to predict who's gonna. It's really just the fill-in week. It's still anybody's game. There's still 50 plus games to go this season, so anyone can win.
Hey, it's a good start for you though. I mean, 10-6 is not great, but I'll take it. But wow, 13-3 for you. It'd be if you bet on all 13 games, you'd be doing well.
Yeah, I would. A couple of close ones. Ones that we knew were going to be close could go either way, and just happened to go my way.
Yeah, some crazy comebacks, a lot of close games, a lot of fumble rooskies that cost teams wins.
Yeah.
And so I can't wait to get into it. But before we do that, first we need to go over our trivia question. And we did have one person get the trivia question right. Shout out to Joseph Easter. The trivia question was, who has had the most rushing yards week 1 in NFL history? And do you know the answers? Do you want to take another stab?
I don't. I kind of embarrassed myself last time, but
I wouldn't say that. There's been a lot of football played in this great NFL experience that we have in America, and I would say it's tough to guess 3 guys out of thousands. So, but number 3 in the most rushing yards of all time was 2008 Michael Turner of the Atlanta Falcons with 220 yards.
Wow.
One of your guys. You liked Michael Turner growing up.
So. I really did like Michael Turner.
Yeah. Number 2 all time, 2010 was Arian Foster with 231 yards.
Oh, wow. That's a big game for week 1.
Yeah. And then the first week was an amazing week way back in 1973, and it's going to kill you when you hear the answer.
Oh.
It's 250 yards by O.J. Simpson, the infamous Hall of Famer. Love O.J. as the player. And when I was growing up, I didn't really get to see him play, but I got to see him as a sportscaster, and he was like the Peyton Manning of our age. He was on every TV commercial.
Oh.
He was in movies, and then the crazy thing happened. But
and he was in more movies.
Yeah, in a different way.
Yeah.
But also, before we get into recapping each game, I have a new segment I want to throw on you here. We're going to call it Dogs or Duds. And this is where I'm going to give a name, and you tell me, was that person a dog or a dud? In other words, is this for real? Was their week 1 performance for real? Or was it a mirage, so to speak?
Yes.
Or maybe it's something they can build on. Maybe they're not a dog yet, but they're getting there, okay?
Very true. Very young players.
We'll just start with Friday night game. Justin Herbert, dog or dud?
Justin Herbert, dog.
Dog, okay.
I liked his performance in week 1. We talked about that Chiefs defense. He made it look weak in that Friday night game in Brazil. Had no jet lag. Came out firing. And ended up winning his team a game on a little 15-yard run around the corner.
Well, he had a lot to prove after last year's playoff letdown. And let's face it, he looked like a stud on that little game-winning slide, right?
He did. That picture was great.
It was. Okay, next one. Dak Prescott, dog or dud?
I think I'm going to just base it off week 1, dog. I think he was a dog in week 1. He made that Eagles defense, which was number 1 or top 3 last year, look bad. He was dotting him up through the whole game. His receiver, but dog.
Dog, okay. I would say I wouldn't call him a dog yet. I think he played a great game. He did. He played within the system, but they did lose the game. And I do think that Jalen Carter had some bearing on his performance as well. But anyway, going on to the next one, what about Bryce Young?
Bryce Young, dud.
Definite dud, right?
Yeah, at the end of last season, I thought he was a dog. He was showing some good promise last year, and he just didn't show up in week 1, which was tough against the not-so-good Jaguars defense.
Yeah, that's right. I actually predicted Bryce Young and Trevor Lawrence to have good games, and one of them delivered, one of them didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Justin Fields, new team with the Jets. How do you think?
Dog. I think even though they lost that game, he was a dog.
I would say, you know what? I think he is a dog. I think this may be this year's Sam Darnold, where the guy who everyone gave up on shows up and plays some football, wins some football games this year. All right, very good. And next up, we're going to go Sam Darnold.
Like we were just talking about, big promise last year, dud so far in week 1.
Fair. I would say his performance was definitely a dud. However, it's a tough defense.
Very true.
Does he not fumble the ball at the end? They win the game.
Yeah, that's the thing though. He fumbled the ball. He had plenty of time and he got hit and didn't hold on to the football. If he holds on to the football, that's another chance for him to go back out there and prove himself. But he fumbled.
All right, Darnold's a dud. Next up, Daniel Jones. Talk about players people give up on. Daniel Jones comes out. The Colts hang 33 on the Dolphins. Dog or dud?
I'm going to say dud. I think that was a good little making he had in that week 1 game. It was against a weak Dolphins defense. And I think he could become a dog. If that's his first step to becoming a dog, I mean, I can see it. That was a good week 1 performance. He relieved some of the pressure off of Jonathan Taylor, their number 1 star, and he showed up.
I would say you're right. Daniel Jones is a guy we talked about in our week 1 predictions.
Yeah.
And, he's a guy who has shown flashes in his career. Danny Dimes sometimes is a superstar, but most of the time he's not. Which one is it? Is this something to build on, or is this just another one of those mirages, so to speak?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll find out. All right, so I'm going to put him as a possible dog still in the dud house.
I like that, yeah.
All
He's
right.
still in the dud house.
That was terrible. Anyway, we're going to go on to Bo Nix and the Broncos.
Oh, man. Dud. They won that game. It was against one of the weaker teams in the league, and he did not perform.
Fair. Now, are they better than we thought they were?
No, I kind of predicted them to kind of destroy the Titans.
Right. I like Cam Ward, and I thought he showed some poise in that game, so maybe they're better than we thought. But yeah, I would agree. Either way you look at it, the way Knicks performed was not up to par for a team that's looking to go to the Super Bowl. So
very true. Yes.
Dud, 100%. Okay, and our last one here is not a player. I'm going to throw you a curveball. It's the Packers defense. Dog or dud?
Dogs. Looking at those stats today, they had 4 sacks. That was impressive against one of the better O-lines in this league. And not only that, their secondary was, doing their job as well. A little fill-ins where they missed Jair, and they all performed. They shut down Amon-Ra.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think maybe, is that more a reflection of how good the Packers defense is, or are the Lions going to struggle without Ben Johnson?
That is a good question. That Packers defense, like I said, 4 sacks against one of the best O-line in the league. I mean, that's not Ben Johnson. That is how good Micah Parsons is having an impact on this defense, himself getting one of those sacks.
Very good. I was baiting you there. I would agree. Even though Micah's not at 100%, he changed the game like we talked about in our preseason picks. Yeah. And that this brings so much attention. He gets a lot of one-on-ones for other players, a lot of open lanes for other players, and they were able to deliver. And I think that could be the difference in the Packers being a wild card team like last year and being a heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, Rashawn Gary last year was one of those guys taking all the double teams, but this year's going to be Micah, so who's going to be blocking Rashawn Gary on the opposite side? And Micah, like you said, didn't play 100% of the snaps, and he still was out there doing what he does.
Excellent. So that's our segment, Dog or Duds. Let us know if you like it in the comments.
Okay, and so now we're on to that Week 1 recap, and we're going to start off with that Thursday night game in between the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Okay, what a way to start off the NFL season, right?
Yes.
Me and you both thought that the Eagles were probably going to hand it to the Cowboys a little bit. And the Cowboys, played better than expected. But there was one major factor that everyone's been talking about all week long that happened before the game, and that's Jalen Carter.
Yeah, how do you go up to another team's huddle and then just spit on their quarterback? There was some footage released where Dak Prescott spit on the ground, but he spit on the ground, and Jalen Carter was like, "Come here," and then spat on him right in front of a ref. You're automatically ejected. Even before spitting on him, walking up to another team's huddle was a penalty.
Yeah, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. It reminds me a lot of Indomik and Sue, but what Indomik done was in the heat of the battle
Yes.
during live action play. This was before the snap of the first game of the year on national TV. I mean, you couldn't just be talking crap from where you're standing.
Yeah, like he was apparently yelling at one of his O linemen, and Dak was like, "Don't do that," and that's why Jalen Carter walked up.
Yeah, I love players with passion. I love guys that play and give it all on the field.
All on the field.
And
Yes.
Carter is that kind of guy, but
Yes.
he's also a leader of that defense now, or is expected to be at least. And you can't do that as a leader. As a leader, you have to have more poise, and you have to think above yourself and think of the team only.
Yes, and that team was going off into a big lead even without him. And the weather delay kind of slowed things down. It was not as much of a high-scoring game as it was maybe going to be. And they still came up on top, though.
Yeah, they did. They fought through some slight minor problems. And they won the game like they should. And let's give it a credit. This was a divisional rivalry game, which are always closer than, it doesn't really matter about records a lot of times with these games. And so this being a televised game under the lights, first game of the year, I thought both teams played well. I think the Cowboys are still the Cowboys. I think that they're going to beat the bad teams, and they're probably going to lose to most of the good teams. But they're going to be a team that's right there in the playoff hunt this year.
Yeah, they win that game if CeeDee Lamb doesn't drop 4 balls after the rain delay. They were all big passes. One that was, all 4 were catchable, but one was like a 20-yard first down, would have put them in field goal position, and maybe they get to the touchdown, and then they're in the lead.
Right, and you see, the Cowboys went through this before with Amari Cooper, right?
Yeah.
He had the dropsies when he was there in Dallas, and so that is something they can work through. Jerry was there; none of the staff was here during that time. But I think that's something that a lot of times it's rust, week 1 rust.
Very true. We saw that in a lot of games this week.
It's a little game rust, week 1 and probably week 2.
Yeah, but one game that did not have rust and that was very energetic was the Friday night game in Brazil. The fans showed out with multi-uniforms from every team in the NFL, and the Chargers came up on top with a score of 27-21.
Yeah, another close game, and excellent segue, by the way. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
But yeah, very exciting. It's fun to see when they go to these other countries, and these fans are as excited. And I think it's good for the sport.
Yes.
It's good for the league. It's good for America when other countries can partake in our culture.
Yeah.
So very excited. I love South America, and I think Brazil was a great choice.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see where else we can go in the future with these games. Back to the game itself.
Yeah.
Very exciting game. The Chiefs were underwhelming.
Yeah.
But Justin Herbert done what he needed to do. And the Chargers proved that they were, a contender again this year as for the playoffs.
That defense showing out, even though losing Joey Bosa, they still got pressure on Patrick Mahomes. The offensive line, did look a little rusty, but Patrick came through it towards the end. He lost Xavier Worthy. You could tell it took a hit early in the game.
Yeah.
And, he got used to it, started throwing it more to Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce, and they started getting drives going, but it was a little too late.
Yeah, 2 things that stuck out to me was the Chargers played really well without the left tackle and moving Joe Alt. Alt was a stud in that game.
Was a stud.
That's why he was drafted so high. That's what he came to LA to do.
Yeah, take those one-on-ones with Chris Jones.
Yes, and then the other thing that stuck out to me was Travis Kelce playing with passion.
Yes.
He may be older. He may not be in his prime, but I honestly thought he may have got a little soft.
A little last year, yeah.
Yeah, and this year that is not the case. He, at least in week one, he come out with a lot of passion. So looking forward to what the Chiefs do this year. They're always a contender. Anytime you have Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, you have a chance.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about the Chargers.
Yeah, if Chris Jones keeps containment there at that last play of the game and gives Patrick Mahomes the minute he would have had to drive down the field, we've seen Patrick Mahomes do it multiple times.
Yes, and speaking of Jones, the Cardinals are trying to keep up with the Joneses in that division where they have a chance this year to maybe squeak out a divisional win here and there and make the playoffs because they have a soft schedule. They started out with a good warm-up with the Saints. Saints defense was the offense was
No. Spencer Rattler throwing the ball 40 times should never happen in a game, no matter how much you were down.
And the Cardinals done what the Cardinals do.
Yeah.
They ran the ball well. Kyler Murray looked focused like we talked about.
Yeah, he did.
And very impressed with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I was impressed with Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. Rookie jitters a little bit. They weren't running him on the routes they should have been. But this year he comes out firing with the 70-yard game. And Trey McBride showing up. We said it could have been, first season could have just been a little bit of a outlier. But he showed up again this week getting a touchdown. And so we'll move on to the next game where the Colts put a beating on the Dolphins 33-8.
Wow, this was a game that really surprised me. I picked the Dolphins to win this game. I thought that they would fall apart later in the season, but it looks like they're full force apart already. And the Colts took advantage. The Colts defense looked phenomenal. They ran the ball well, and like you talked about earlier, Danny Dimes looked great.
Yeah, I mean, the preseason games, I guess, do matter sometimes because he did play a little bit more preseason games than a normal quarterback would because they were trying to find their starting quarterback. He obviously won the job, and he did his job. Throwing it to multiple receivers. Tyler Warren, rookie standout already, showing up in week one with some big plays, throwing it to his safety, Michael Pittman, and the defense with 3 turnovers on Tua.
Right. Tyler Warren did look phenomenal, which is something we talked about. He will have a much tougher test this coming week, though, as they play a much better defense.
Very true.
Yeah, but hey, Colts 33-0. You don't see that a lot in the NFL.
It was 33-8, but it was a late touchdown. Could have definitely been a blowout if they weren't playing that soft defense.
Right, 33-8 is a blowout. You don't see many of those in the parity of the NFL anymore. And, wow, very impressive win week one.
We move on to the next game. It was the Las Vegas Raiders versus the New England Patriots. A little sloppy.
Raiders. Oh, man, that was a sloppy game.
Yeah.
Raiders come out on top. Are the Raiders that good or are the Patriots that bad?
If I had to say, the Patriots are that bad. Their offense had no rhythm. The defense looked fine, but the Raiders' offense had so many opportunities to score. And Ashton Genty, though, he did surprise me. He came out and he was, very good.
Yeah, I predicted him to get 100 yards. That was well short.
Yeah.
But he does play. He does run with a lot of fire.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do well in the NFL. I think they need to do a better job opening up some running lanes for him.
Yeah.
And I think if he gets going, that only helps Geno. I think the Raiders are going to be a competitive ball team this year. I honestly feel the Patriots will be competitive in their own way. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I don't think they're dog water either. I think both clubs have a lot to look forward to and a lot of room to grow. So we'll see what happens, in the rest of the season.
Very much agree. And now this was a great game we tuned into a lot. The Steelers versus the Jets.
Oh, man. I got to say I was impressed with both teams here.
Oh, yeah.
Both quarterbacks had a lot to prove, and both of them came out and played some good football. Rodgers I mean, is he Aaron Rodgers, the Hall of Famer at this point? No, but he's still, I think, better than probably half the quarterbacks in the league. At least he was in week 1. And Justin Fields looked like that dude. We'd already talked about it.
Yeah, he did.
He has really opened up the running game for the Jets. He made some tough throws in this game.
He did.
I think maybe with that offensive line and this offensive coordinator, maybe he can grow as a quarterback and become a more reliable, everyday starter. And look out for the Jets. I mean, the Jets could be a playoff team for sure this year. They definitely in week 1 look like the second best team in the division. And look like they may give the Bills a run for their money. So we'll see what happens there. As far as the Steelers, the team that won the game, they looked great. I mean, you could say the defense was not great because the Jets ran the ball so well. But I think that's more of the Jets really committing and looking good versus the Steelers playing bad.
Yeah, I mean, with our predictions last week, both had low-scoring games, bragging about how good those defenses were. Very much we had questions about both offenses. Those questions were answered in week 1. 2 impressive offenses, 2 defenses that they came out a little rusty, but I agree they have the talent there to win games for their team if their offense comes out a little slow. And, I mean, but we got to talk about the offenses. Justin Fields spreading the ball around, opening up the run game. Aaron Rodgers spreading the ball around, throwing it to his number 1 receiver, DK Metcalf. They had a good chemistry. I seen DK drop the ball on 2nd down. Aaron Rodgers throws it to him on 3rd down anyways, 1st down.
Yeah, and you know who showed up, who we predicted? Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a big part of this offense, and I think as we watch this offense develop, we will see a lot more of him and Freiermuth on the field at the same time, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. They'll open up the run game a little bit more. I didn't get to see much of the run game from the Steelers, but it was because they were having to keep up with that Jets firing offense.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers was doing his thing. But you're right. He won't be able to do that every week with his age.
And, you know, I think the Steelers defense, I think you can look at that play by T.J. Watt, who made a pivotal play near the end of the game, batting the ball down. Yeah. And so I think the Steelers defense is for real. I think the Jets defense is for real. Sauce Gardner looked really well. I think these are 2 playoff teams.
Yeah, very possible. And then we move on to our next game, the Commanders versus the Giants, with the Commanders coming out with the 21-6 victory.
I was worried about this game.
Yeah.
I thought we don't really know what the Giants offense is going to look like.
And they look like crap.
Yeah, the answer is bad.
Yeah.
But really what impressed me, 2 things that caught my attention more than anything, was Washington hung 21 on that defense. It should have been a lot more.
Yeah.
Jaden showed some rust. The receivers dropped some balls.
In that first half, yeah.
It could have been a lot worse than it was for the Giants. But 2 was the domination of the Washington's defensive line against the Giants' offensive line.
Oh, yeah, that was impressive. I was expecting this defense to let up 20 a game, even against a team like the Giants. But they came out with some good sack numbers, some good pressure numbers. We didn't get the turnovers, but it didn't matter. We weren't letting them pass half field half the time.
I mean, turnovers, I think, will come for this defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they did have an interception that was null and void because of roughing the passer.
Very true.
But 50% pressure rate. And people were talking about how poorly Russell Wilson played. I'm telling you what, if you get laid on the ground, half the time you drop back, you're going to be a little skittish.
Yeah, I mean, Malik Neighbors was mad at his quarterback halfway through the game, and I think that's why people had a perception, because that's the pictures online. You're going to see Malik Neighbors mad at his quarterback. But, it was Russell Wilson was getting pressured really hard. Now, if Russell Wilson does this again, and he's not getting pressured, he's just missing throws flat out, I could see them putting in Jackson Dart maybe halfway through the year.
I could see that too, but I don't really think – I don't put this game on Russell at all.
I agree.
They could not run the ball. Washington shut down the run. If they were to get 2 yards, it was a good run for them in this game. Russ was their leading rusher off of scrambles.
Wow.
And so that's a tough day for any quarterback.
Yeah, my 2 defensive standouts for Washington was Deron Payne getting most of those pressures, shutting down the run, and Marshawn Lattimore putting the cuffs on Malik Neighbors, if you will.
Yeah, he definitely did shut down Malik and anybody that was on his side of the field.
Exactly.
And then also, I think a quick shout out to the free agent Javon Kinlaw in that middle too. I mean, he was a man child against the Giants. Now, is the Giants' offensive line that terrible, or is the Redskins' defensive line that good this year? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will wait and see for that Week 2 game, and so we'll move on to the next one, being the Battle of the Cats that we said last week, the Jaguars versus Panthers.
Okay, this was the game I thought was going to be a shootout. It was for one team. Not even really a shootout for them, but they dominated.
Every aspect, yes.
Yeah, Jacksonville looked great. Trevor Lawrence looked good. Travis Etienne was Travis Etienne.
Oh, man, he really impressed me.
Yeah, he looked amazing. So much so between him and Bashan Tootin that they traded away their lead bell cow from last year to the Eagles.
They got a good haul for that as well.
Brian Thomas did not have the game he had hoped for, but it wasn't needed. First of all, Trevor spread the ball around really well, hitting Travis Hunter, who looked good. De'Ami Brown looked good. Brenton Strange looked good. And then they just dominated on the run game with Travis Etienne. So Brian Thomas wasn't that needed in this game. He will be down the road, though, so I'm interested to see how that develops.
I think a big part of them going towards the running attack was, again, the Brenton Strange blocking. I watched some videos on that his blocking this week. He was putting people on the ground, linebacker, D-line. He's an all-around player. He also had 4 catches for 50 yards. He was really good. I like Travis Hunter. I didn't expect them to play him as much on defense, but he had 6+ defensive snaps with his 30+ offensive snaps. After the game, coach said, this is just the start. He will get more and more snaps as the year goes.
I think the Jaguars have a shot at that division this year.
Division, yeah, because Houston looked a little rough. So we'll move on to the next game, and that game being the Bengals beating the Browns 17-16.
This was a good old-fashioned Bungles versus the Doo-Doo.
It's a classic NFC North matchup. We predicted a blowout, but I mean, the NFC North, they are just battling, and they battle every game. And this was one thing that impressed me in this game was Cincinnati's defense stepped up with 2 turnovers. Maybe not against the best team, but they were. You could tell the practice went into the game. They were 2 tip drill interceptions. Yeah. Both were tipped up and caught, which is impressive. And Cincinnati's offense was not impressive.
No, it wasn't. Myles Garrett looked phenomenal.
Oh, yes, very true.
But the Bengals' pass protection looked bad.
Yeah, worse than last year, saying something.
And the Browns' offense looked like what we thought it was going to look like.
Yeah.
Interesting that they did not give the ball to Ford as much as we thought.
That's very true.
But we'll see what happens with the Browns. I was really disappointed in the Bengals. Again, like you said, it's a tough divisional game. And so those are always closer because it's a big rival. But, I thought the Bengals could produce more on offense. So maybe Jamar Chase and those guys are a little rusty. And we'll just have to see how that goes as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns with the chance to win the game at the end and they botch a field goal, which is just tough to see. I mean, that would have been a big game for them, pulling one against a team that could make the playoffs. But if the Bengals keep playing like this, I don't see them in the playoffs.
No, but also, like you said with the Browns, anytime you get a divisional win, especially against a team that's favored over you, I mean, that's a big win. And so they lost a golden opportunity here.
Very true. And we'll move on to another division game, being the NFC South, being the Buccaneers versus Falcons. This was a very fun one to watch. Talking
about a golden opportunity wasted, right?
Yeah.
Very reliable kicker missing the kick.
Yeah.
And could be a game that determines who wins the division this year.
Yeah, both teams looked really good. The Buccaneers rookie being the rookie standout in week 1, 2 touchdowns, 8 catches. Really good game by Egbuka.
Yeah, Egbuka. Yeah. Which, going into the draft, they said he was the most pro-ready receiver.
Showed.
He looked it, yeah. I've got to say this. Michael Penix looked way better than I anticipated.
Very true.
He looked like a franchise quarterback in this game. Now, whether he looks like that every week, we'll have to see. Where the Bucks look rusty, Baker looked rusty, but he at the end of the game he looked like the Baker of old.
Oh yeah, he's clutch. We know that.
You know, the Falcons could have put this game away. They could have come out of week one with a win over the best team in the division.
Yeah.
They could have come out with a team well rested because you're running the ball. Offensive linemen love to run the ball.
They do.
Way better than they do passing protection. Passing protection is hard on those ankles and knees. And so I was disappointed in the play calling of this game down the stretch.
Yeah, I completely agree. But so we'll move on to the next game, being the San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks, with the San Francisco 49ers coming out with a 17-13 dub.
Yeah, and I got to say, this was another rusty-looking game.
They're very true.
But watching the game, I felt like Seattle was the better team in the game. But Darnold looked like he was seeing ghosts out there.
Yeah.
And fumbled the football and cost them the win there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Seattle's defense looked really good.
Here's the thing that really hurts, I think, San Francisco. They just can't stay healthy. It looks like Kittle's going to the IR now.
Yeah.
I will say this, the backup, Tungus, I think.
Oh, yeah, he had a good.
He had a great game, was really kind of the hero of the game for the 49ers.
Yeah, very true.
But I don't know that he can do that week to week. He played well, but I think that's more of a lack of, him being ready to step in, first of all.
Yeah.
But also a lack of Seattle being prepared for that.
Yeah, I don't think they were prepared for Ricky Pearsall to have the game he did. 100-yard game, 4 catches. Yeah, he really stood out in that game.
Yeah, the Niners were really high on him last year when they drafted him.
Yeah, he looked good.
And he didn't really show a whole lot last year.
Yeah.
But week one, you're right, he looked good. I think he is could be their number one guy, even when Jawan Jennings, is back and until Ayuk comes, obviously.
Yeah.
But the problem with the Niners are they're going to be in playoff contention when Ayuk comes back.
Yes.
Is McCaffrey going to be able to stay healthy the whole season?
Yeah.
A lot of question marks for both these teams.
Yeah, one question mark was not Jackson Smith and Jigba. He was great. He had a 100-yard game as well, even with Sam Darnold not playing as well. The next game, which was a little sloppy one in between the Titans losing the game 12-20 against the Broncos.
Yeah, so this is another game where we thought the Broncos would just blow them out of the water, and it didn't happen. Bo Nix did not look good in this game.
No, even with the victory.
I felt really bad for Cam Ward in this game. He was constantly under pressure. He was asked to do a lot more than a rookie quarterback should have to do in a week one game, going against probably the best defense in the league and really taking a beating. I'd be interested to see how he, is he able to recover from that in week two and play well, or is he going to start getting skittish like quarterbacks do when they get thrown around all the time?
Yeah, I mean, it's only up for here. I hope it doesn't get him skittish because that was the hardest defense he will play all season. It's a really good defense. I agree, should have taken the pressure off him a little bit more. The special teams really tried. They were, the defense was getting the Broncos to punt in non-favorable spots, and the punt return was taking advantage of that, giving Ward some good field, but the Broncos defense showed out and just didn't let him have it.
Yeah, and I think, the Titans need more weapons, first of all.
Yeah, they need to get him more weapons. Calvin Ridley dropping a ball late, that was big.
Yeah, it was. And the Broncos, I mean, this was a team that we talked about. Hey, if Bo Nix is for real, if he can come in and be a Brock Purdy or even better for this team, this is a Super Bowl team. That did not look like the case today.
No, that Broncos defense set them up to win by 20-plus points. And Nix was not taking advantage of it. Even their big plays came from their running backs. Harvey having a big run. Even he only had, I think, 20% of the snaps. But I saw all the big plays from Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins had most of the snaps in the last game.
Yeah, so the run game is there.
Yes.
It's just, can Bo Nix get the ball down the field some?
They're going to need that, yes.
They're going to have to against these better teams. And I just don't, not to be disparaging against the Titans, but I don't look at the Titans defense and think this is top tier.
Now, in a division like the AFC West, you need to keep up the scoring with those big names, and it's going to be hard to make the playoffs, especially in the AFC West.
Yeah, you're not going to beat the Chiefs and the Chargers just scoring 20 points a game.
No.
Unless that defense can hold them to under 20. But again, the Titans offense is not Patrick Mahomes. It's not
Justin Herbert, Lad McConkey.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't ask the defense to be that good all the time.
Yeah, and so we'll move to the next game. That was a good one. And then another 4 o'clock game between the Lions, 13, Packers, 27 win.
Okay, so this was my game of the week.
It was a really good game.
It was. The Packers looked phenomenal on both sides of the football. They ran the ball well. Love spread the ball around. He looked great. I saw a stat the other day where he hasn't thrown an interception. I forgot how many games, but he looked like a franchise quarterback. And we already talked about that defense. Defense looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
The Lions. I mean, are they this bad because of their lack of offensive defensive coordinators this year? Or are the Packers just that good?
I think Matt LaFleur, we talked about it last week. Which team was more ready? Matt LaFleur's team looked more ready. They came out, touchdown, punt, touchdown. They were up early, and I mean that was big. I don't think the Lions' offense is bad. I will see in week 2. If they perform good, I'm not going to be surprised. All right, so we have our final 4 o'clock game where the Rams won 14-9 against the Texans.
Yeah, this was a defensive slobber knocker.
Yeah. Every big play was on defense in this game.
It was. Both teams struggled offensively. Nico Collins did not really show up. C.J. Stroud kind of struggled. Stafford had some great throws in there, but got to give that Houston defense credit. They played a very good game. And I felt like it was more Houston's offense letting down Houston's defense. And then I felt like on the other side of the ball, it was the Rams' defense lifting their game to help out the offense as well. And it was a good old-fashioned, slobber knocker.
Yeah, I mean, the Texans were driving. They could have got the lead late. They were in the red zone. And then the Rams did a little peanut punch and got a fumble recovery.
That was a phenomenal play. It really was. That was something they needed because Houston was looking like they were going to win that game. They had all the momentum in that moment, and in that one play, boom, game over.
Exactly. They just ran out the clock. The Houston defense tried to knock Nakua out because he was he had big plays early. He got off the field, got his stitched up, right back in the game. That was a tough play right there.
Yeah. That I love tough players, as you know, and that. I've kind of been on the fence about Puka. I'm all on board now.
Yeah, he showed that grit. He showed his skill through his first 3 seasons. I really like Nakua. I really like that team.
Yeah, you like the Rams?
I like the Rams.
You think they're divisional champion this year?
I think it's going to be a tough one. I think them, the Seahawks, and the 49ers they're all fighting for it.
Gotcha. Very interesting. We'll see how that plays out.
And I mean, not even to leave out the Cardinals, showing that they can maybe win it in week 1 as well.
Well, like I said, the Cardinals have the easiest schedule of those 4 teams. And so that helps a lot.
Especially when it's going to come down to like 9-win team versus an 8-win team. It's going to be like that.
I got you. All right. Good prediction.
All right. And then we move on to my game of the week, maybe game of the year. The Bills pull out a win 41-40 against the Baltimore Ravens.
In honor of Chris Berman, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, come on, man.
What
a great game.
Comeback.
Yeah.
Josh Allen proved why he was MVP last year. On the other side of the ball, the Ravens looked phenomenal for 3 quarters.
They looked, really good for 3 quarters. Joey Bosa said after the game, all you need to do is give Josh Allen 30 seconds, and he does what he does best.
That's a great quote. This was what we expected it to be, right? It's back and forth. It was anybody's game. I had predicted that the Ravens would pull out the squeaker because I thought they were due.
I did as well. I thought it would come down in the fourth quarter and the Ravens would be the better team, and it was the flip of that. It came down to the fourth quarter. Buffalo was the better team.
They were, and I think a lot of that falls on Harbaugh and conservative play calling, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But you got to give Josh Allen all the credit in the world.
You got to give that defense credit because, I mean, I don't disagree with playing a conservative when you have Lamar and Derrick Henry to run the clock out. I do think he called too predictable of run plays. Why isn't Lamar getting a little designed run to the outside? Because he's your star player. He was giving it to Derrick Henry every play. They were crashing the middle, and the defensive line did their job against a really good O-line.
Yeah, you got to give him credit because, you can predict all you want against Derrick Henry, and he still is a factor. A lot of times you can't do anything about it, right? He's a man-child out there. But the Bills showed up. That defense played good enough, and they played really good down the stretch when they needed to.
Yeah, that brings up in the first half, they were running a too high safety look, trying to stop Lamar's big passing ability. But then Derrick Henry was getting 50-yard runs, 20-yard touchdown runs. And so then they bring up a safety in the second half to stop the run, and that kind of helped.
Yeah, I think, and Washington, we used to call it the Buffalo nickel position, and
named after Buffalo.
Yeah, and they performed it well.
Yeah,
and so I think both of these teams are Super Bowl contenders. This game proves that.
It could be the AFC Championship.
It very well could be, and it could come down to this again. And the Ravens are overdue at this point to win these squeaker games.
Someone else who impressed me was DeAndre Hopkins. Even though he's old, making one-handed 30-yard receptions for a touchdown.
Yeah, that dude, he is like Jerry Rice, and he's defying age, right? He really had a very productive year last year.
Yeah.
And in week one, at least, we've seen no drop-off from that.
No.
So D-Hop is
here to stay.
I think he's a Hall of Fame player for sure.
His hands are some of the best of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so very exciting to see what both these teams can do. Is the Bills' defense going to get better? Are they going to be able to rely on not having that superstar receiver and just put it all on James Cook and Josh Allen? Not to say Bills don't have good receivers, but they don't have, they don't have Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase.
Yeah, and Josh Allen does some of the best in the league, spreading out to not so good receivers. His most trusted receiver, Shakir, great game. He threw it up to Keon Coleman for the game-winning touchdown. He threw a couple of passes to Kincaid and Cook to play it safe. He knows when to go big and when to stay safe and when to run the ball. He's the best decision maker in the league right now.
Yeah, these are the two best quarterbacks in the league.
Yes, agreed.
And they looked like it in week one.
Very true. And so we'll move on to the last game, which is a Monday night game. It was a little sloppy, but it ended up being a really good game where the Vikings pull it out against the Bears 27-24.
Yeah, another great comeback game, right?
Yes.
And so J.J. McCarthy showing some grit at the end of this game.
Yeah, showing the poise you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I did not expect it out of him. I'll just be honest.
No.
I've got my Warren Moon jersey on.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I'm not going to lie, I went to bed,
Oh, yeah, thinking the Bears had won.
Yeah, and, Caleb Williams played a decent game, but he didn't do what we talked about. I predicted he was not going to give the Vikings a chance to come back, and I was wrong. He did, and the Vikings delivered in a big way. I was very impressed with McCarthy there at the end of the game. I think that Kevin McConnell, he's a better coach than people realize.
Yeah, Ben Johnson came out with a really good strategy. He had some really good plays cooked out. He had a fake toss slant for a touchdown. Caleb Williams, I mean, that's just easy to do. I did think Caleb Williams came out to be much better than he was last year at pocket presence. He wasn't getting pressured, and when he did, it took two players to take him down every time.
Yeah.
And Minnesota noticed that, and so Brian Flores started bringing the blitz with like 6-man blitzes, and then it started slowing down Caleb Williams' ability to read the defense and to run out of the pocket. And so I think Brian Flores did really good at halftime maneuvering. I agree. J.J. McCarthy's leadership. I was watching him in the first quarter. He was changing the play at the line of scrimmage. It never worked. He kept going to the line of scrimmage with confidence, leading his team, changing protection. He threw a pick six because of it. Halftime comes around, McConnell brings him side, run my plays. Stop changing the plays at the line of scrimmage, and it worked. He came out, he played really well. He said in a timeout in their game-winning drive, he said, where else would we want to be right now, to his team, to his offense? And that just grounded his offense, and they were like, yeah, this is the only place we want to be right now. We want to give it our all. And they did in that little fourth quarter.
Wow, that sounds like that's some Joe Montana stuff right there. Very impressive. And I'd like to touch on this too, because you predicted Rome Odunze to be their number one receiver, and he was.
Yeah.
Let's see if that lasts all year, because that was a good call. And then you brought up another point with Caleb Williams. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but when in the NFL, if you can't read your defense, you're in for a rough haul.
Yes.
And so, can Caleb mature? He's always been able to get on raw talent alone. This is the point where you're playing with the big boys, and you got to come out here and show you can learn and grow. And reading defenses is a big part of that.
Yeah, this is the third time you're going up against the Brian Flores defense. It is a new offense, but you should start to realize some of the indicators where 6 men are going to start coming at you, changing the protection, going to a play where it's just a hitch route or a slant route, because you know it's going to be like 5 people in coverage. And he didn't do that last night, but he can grow from that. He showed a lot of promise, a lot more than I saw last year, and I think that was because Ben Johnson's influence on the team.
Yeah, so I think I'm not ready to throw the Bears away yet.
No.
This could be a very productive year for them. They could grow, and they could even squeak in the playoffs, depending on how they adapt and how Caleb adapts, I should say.
Yeah, they're going to have to start winning those close games.
The Vikings, on the other hand, I mean, it's hard to think of a quarterback who's had a better position. I mean, this was a 14-win team, and you get dropped down as a quarterback to play with Justin Jefferson on a 14-win team. He's in a good situation.
Yeah.
He proved he belonged there last night. Can he do that week to week? We'll see.
So now we will go on to our final segment, which is our trivia question.
All right. So we had some good responses from the last trivia question. This is something we're going to continue. Since was a great week for comebacks, we have a comeback trivia question.
Oh, sweet. Come on.
So your question of the week is this. Of the current, in other words, active quarterbacks in the league right now, what 3 quarterbacks have the most comeback wins? You want to take a stab at it?
Ooh, 3 quarterbacks with the most comeback wins. It's a really good question you came up with there.
Yeah, obviously we need you to answer in the comments, and I'd like to see who you guys think. A couple of them may surprise you, but I'm excited to see this. I think it's a great question, and it should be fun to see the answers.
Yeah, I'm excited to put my 3 guesses in. Put your 3 guesses in the comments. I loved that we got a lot of positive reactions last time, and we even had one get it right. Good luck to you all. Good luck to me. All right, so with my first guess, I will go with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is a great guess. He's played a lot of years. He's had a lot of big wins.
Good comeback.
He's not in the top 3.
Wow, okay. So I'm going to go with more of a safe pick here. I think Patrick Mahomes is the king of comebacks. Is Patrick Mahomes?
Wow, another great guess. Certainly a guy who's had a lot of comebacks, but he hasn't been in the league that long, so not in the top 3.
Oh, man, so we got 3 veterans, king of comebacks here. All right, third and final guess. Guy who's won a Super Bowl. He's played for a bad team for a long time, had to make a couple of comebacks. Matthew Stafford?
Matthew Stafford has the most comeback wins of any quarterback any active quarterbacks currently playing. So
sweet, finally got one right. Good luck to you guys. I guess I gave you a little help there with giving you the first one, but make sure you guess for the other 2.
Yeah, he got the easy one. So you guys got to get the 2 hard ones. All right, guys. So we hope you enjoyed the man-to-man sports coverage and our recap of week 1. Please come back and see us for our week 2 preview.
Yeah, good luck, sports fans.